My name is 𝐁𝐨𝐧𝐝𝐸. I'm an industrial designer. Welcome to my channel about product design and making. I hope that you like, enjoy, and become a subscriber. Make sure that you hit the bell and then hit it again so you get the little parentheses around it. That way you'll be notified every time I have a new video. This is the third video in the Bondo series. In this video, one of the things I'm going to show you is how to extrude, how to do a squeeze, and how to make flexible parts. We're going to start out with the extrusion. Extrude everything onto a sheet of glass. We're going to use some wood as some guides, and we're going to make an extrusion template. To do that, we're going to use a piece of styrene. You could use anything like thin sheet metal like aluminum or steel, but styrene is super easy. It's easily cuttable and formed into the shape that I want. I'm making a simple T extrusion, something that you might find like a molding in between two pieces or a seal, like a door seal or something like that. Once I've cut the basic shape out of the styrene, I'm just going to come in with some needle files and kind of clean things up. Once I have my basic extruder shape built, I'm going to lay down my pieces of wood, and then these are going to be the guides that guide the extrusion template to actually make our extruded polyester resin parts. Set it up on a sheet of glass because it's nice and flat. So we're going to do just like we did in the other videos. We're going to mix up some Bondo polyester resin, put in some hardener, and we're going to lay that down on the sheet of glass. First, we're going to wear a pair of rubber gloves so we don't get the stuff all over our hands, because Bondo will definitely do that. I'm going to use my styrene template to drag through the Bondo and start to lay in that shape. We're going to put in the next layer of Bondo. You're going to do this several times until the part has enough material on it. And I put some in a plastic bag and I cut the little corner off, and I'm going to pipe it out just like a baker would do onto a cake, and just a little bit less messy that way. I do it different ways during the video just to show you. Again, here I drag the styrene template across there to lay in my shape. Again, repeat the process. A little more polyester resin, and I'm going to drag the form through it one more time. And every time I do that, it builds up a little bit more, and we start to get the form extruded part that we want. Here on the last layer, or close to the last layer, I'm using some glazing putty. The glazing putty is just a little bit higher quality polyester resin, so it'll give me a little bit better surface finish.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome.
So this is going to give you a really nice, stiff, strong piece of polyester resin made out of body filler. That's going to give you a really nice extrusion. You can, of course, sand it. There's minimal cleanup that's needed for a part like this, and it's going to give you a part that you can cut up and use in your model making. The purpose of these videos, of course, is to preserve some of these old techniques that I learned from model builders many years ago. Many of them have passed away since. I don't know what you're saying. You're like, Eric, I could build that on my 3D printer. And you're right, you could. Again, kind of preserving the old way of doing things, kind of old school. But you're saying, yeah, I can make it on my printer. How can I take it to the next level? Well, I'm going to show you how you can make the same extrusion flexible. So you could make something like this on your 3D printer with flexible material. You'd have to get special material, of course, and again, you're limited by the build plate. Here, you could make it several feet long and make it as flexible as you want. The key to making these parts flexible, and you saw it earlier, was adding some denatured alcohol to the Bondo. And this is what's going to give you a nice flexible part. You need to do it on every single coat, but you get a pretty nice flexible piece that you can sand, of course, something you couldn't do on a 3D printed flexible part. But in this case, totally modifiable. Let's move on to the squeeze, the Bondo squeeze. So in this case, I want to get this 2x4 here, and I want to have it formed into this piece of PVC. Now, I could, of course, cut the 2x4 and kind of mess around with it and sand it, get it close to the shape of the PVC. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use some polyester body filler, and I'm going to attach it to the end of the wood. I'm going to form it right into the PVC. I'm laying down some blue painter's tape, and what's important here is the tape, they butts up against each other, the two edges, so they don't overlap. I'm going to put in a little bit of Johnson's paste wax, and of course we learned that the paste wax allows the Bondo not to stick to whatever the surface that the paste wax is on. I'm going to add a little bit of red colorant here to the polyester body filler. And then I'm going to add my hardener. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm just making the polyester body filler red so that you can see it a little more dramatic in the video that way. All right, once we got it all mixed up, we're going to apply it to the end of the wood, and of course it's going to stick really well here. So we're going to just kind of heap it on to the end of the 2x4, make sure that we got plenty, apply that on there. So once we're done heaping on the polyester body filler here, we're just going to squeeze it into the female form. It's going to form a perfect male part. They're going to fit together very nice. Gently but firmly push the two together, and we're going to let that set up until it gets into a little rubbery consistency. Of course, in this state, it's really easy to sort of trim off the excess filler that's kind of oozed out. I'm going to break off the excess piece in the front, and you can only do this at this stage. If it goes beyond this, it'll be too hard. You'll have to do it with a bandsaw or a saw or something like that. You have to wait here too. You can't go too soon to snap that piece off, or it'll pull the body filler right off of the wood. So be patient here. It's right at that nice rubbery stage, so it's super easy to clean up. I can pull it off the wood here just a little bit. Once it gets hard, you can't do that anymore. So this is just a little bit of experience and practice, but this is the perfect time to clean it up and make your life easier instead of having to come back and use the big heavy machinery to clean everything up. Just be patient, be careful. I'm using the chisel here just to scrape off gently and delicately the excess body filler. Just making your life so much easier if you do it at this stage. All right, I'm going to pull the tape out of the PVC here, and I'm going to show you how the two pieces fit together. Perfect fit. So if we needed a model and we needed that part to rotate or lock it down with a bolt, some sort of an adjuster piece or something like that, that's a super simple, easy way to do that. Here's a few other examples of doing the squeeze using different materials. You got a stone in the back. This was from the Ultimate Amulet video. If you haven't seen that, there'll be a link above here on the right. You can see that whole video. Again, wax on the stone so that the polyester body filler doesn't stick to it. Here I cast some threads from a video recently, like a thread casting video. It's a reverse engineering video. There's a link above as well to that video. So lots of different ways to use body filler.
Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can click on the little icon on the bottom right of the screen to do that. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. Rock on. Click here to watch some of the other design and making videos that I have. If you'd like to have your music featured in one of my videos, drop me a line.